Welcome to the Recovery Centered Podcast, a space for honest conversations about healing, hope, and the journey through mental health and addiction recovery. Each episode, we sit down with people making a difference, from therapists and researchers to change makers and survivors now, to explore what recovery really looks like in the real world. This podcast is produced in collaboration with Beachway Therapy Center.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Recovery Centered Podcast. My name is Tim Roberto, and I am your host. And I love what I do, and I'm very grateful to be doing this compared to the alternative or where I came from. So welcome. I hope between our guest, Trisha Young, that we bring something that is exactly what you needed to hear. And with that being said, like I said, I've known Trisha 14, 15 years.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there. And, to see her move in the industry and with her private practice as a licensed mental health counselor and just her involvement in the community, her genuine concern, after 15 years of seeing a very consistent person to be here with you and for you to be helping me too. I'm just very grateful for that. So thank you for coming. Welcome. It's always a joy seeing you. We got to laugh like we usually do. I don't know, 10, 15 minutes now.
Yeah, early this morning, I started out on the greatest foot. I will tell on myself.
Okay.
I will.
All right. I won't, but.
All right, yeah. So
it's
I
great.
went to the wrong location, right? I texted Tim. I'm like, I'm here in the lobby. He's like, where? So I was at the wrong location.
I've been waiting in the lobby.
He was waiting for me. I was waiting for him, except I did a classic ADD move. I read the text. I said 10 o'clock, Tim Roberto, Beachway. I showed up, 10 o'clock, Tim Roberto, Beachway. We were down the road at the recording studio is where Tim was.
Yeah.
And the directions were in the text.
Yeah.
I just omitted to read that. All those other words didn't feel important to me at the time.
I'm just going to brag right now. I guess that's all my hard work and branding paying off,
Absolutely.
Everybody hears Tim Roberto. They say Beachway. Oh, let
There
me
you
just
go.
go to Beachway.
There you go. Just go to Beachway. The car just went to Beachway. Going to see Tim. Going to Beachway.
But, that's part of the journey, right? That's part of the walk and part of showing up. Like Trisha said, I just showed up. She's been showing up ever since I've met her. And we kind of interact in the same circles. And,
so 15 years ago, if I had showed up at the wrong address and had people waiting for me, I would have had a shame attack.
Oh, wow.
And I would have felt horrific. I would have been blaming myself. I would have been really angry at myself. I would have been embarrassed. There would have been this whole dialogue, this whole self-loathing dialogue going on inside here. And it would have been a painful day.
Oh, wow.
And
So you would have held on to it for a while.
Oh yeah, I would have worked with that, and I'm like, why is it you're always you're always screwing up, And this time I was just like, oops, oops.
Yep.
I'm like, oh yeah, that was me.
How did you do that? That's pretty powerful what you just said, because I guarantee you, I'm relating to it too. Like, and if I'm, there's so much of that. Like, what do you think you did, or what did you start doing?
Well, it was a lot of things. It wasn't one thing. It was like multiple things. Like, obviously, years of therapy.
Yeah.
And a lot of brain-based therapies, EMDR, brain spotting, that kind of stuff.
Work.
And really just learning that and embracing the fact that I am perfectly imperfect, that I'm going to be able to make mistakes because I'm a human being.
Yeah.
Remember years ago, my daughter's 24, so 22 years ago, it was Saturday morning, and it was ballet day. And so ballet day is all things pink little pink ballet slippers, ballet outfit. It's like the thing for the week, right?
Is that the same as recital, or is that something
yeah,
else?
Yeah, it's the same as recital. Well, this is just like a class.
Okay.
All right, so it's just a class. It's a half an hour class, okay? But it's like the focus of the week, right? For little girls.
Big.
And their grandmas. And so I drive into the ballet studio. The parking lot is empty. Not one car in the parking lot. And I'm like, oops, I guess we don't have any ballet today. And I'm sure there was a notice that I didn't get. I got it, but I didn't pay attention to in the barrage of other emails that one gets, right? So later on, I was talking to my mom, and she was like, oh, how's ballet today? And I said, oh, we didn't have it. And she said, oh, how come? Why not? I said, I don't know. I drove into the parking lot, and nobody was there, so it must have got canceled. And my mother said, well, how'd you screw that one up?
Ooh, there's a knife. Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
And I said, well, Mom, I don't know. I guess I was human.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I never heard that before. I said, no, I know you didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. But I'm going to make mistakes.
Yep. Newsflash. I took the power back, Mom.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff's not going to hurt me anymore.
Right. And I'm like, oh, how sad
for
her.
Yeah.
But so there was a lot of work that I had to do to rewrite that belief system.
Yeah,
because those words that get infused into the psyche, they become part of who you are, and they form your outcomes. So it's really important to do the work to untangle those, to move those to the side because those no longer fit, and replace them with, I'm human.
Yeah, like you're programmed to be something you're not.
Right.
And
we all are going to have, we're all going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have wins. We're all gonna have shortfalls. We're all gonna have losses. It's just part of life.
Part of the journey.
Yeah, and if we think that every time we're going to get things 100% right, and we beat ourselves up when we don't, you're not going to be able to move forward.
Do you think, Mom, of course you got me thinking, I usually don't announce it, but for right now it's coming to my mind and my voice. I'm a counselor as well, so my first thought was, do you think Mom falls into that critical parenting category, or is she always critical? So that's as a little kid keeps growing up, right? No matter what I do, I can't do anything right. I'm just
and not like, I don't want to paint her with that strong a brush, but yes, but her mother was highly critical of her, so her mother dumped it on her.
Correct.
And then she dumped it on me.
Just working on what was given them too.
Right, because she had a shame attack.
Yeah.
Because when things weren't perfect, she felt like that was going to impact her.
Yeah, I work with a lot of people. Just, you and I collectively work with a lot of people. We just do. And, I always tell people that are angry at their parents or they start disrespecting their parents, I straighten that out as quickly as I can because, they're just operating on what was given them. Right. Just like we're operating on what was given us. I think it's really inappropriate, not only professionally but personally, to attack like your parent.
There's ways we can address that clinically,
respectfully.
Right, respectfully.
Yeah.
And we all have the right to heal from those less than nurturing experiences. That doesn't mean we have to be hurtful when we do it.
No, because that's like I'm not getting better. Right? Hurt people. So if I'm trying to get better, but at the same time I'm hurting people getting better, something's up. Do I have the right people in my life? Do I have the right guidance? Do I have the right counselor, therapist? Do I have the right people around me? I don't know, but that's wonderful. So that's the great thing about healing, and the life journey. Even though it's really hard. It's really hard a lot. It's not that it's easy, but, we do get to be the best version of ourselves if we want to be. You know, we always have that choice. Like,
Yeah, like every day, I wake up and I say the first thing I say to myself every morning before I even get out of bed, I'm like, all right, God, what kind of adventures are we going on today? All right, what kind of adventures are we going to go on today? Because every day is an adventure.
yeah, I know.
I can't tell you how many times my husband and I will say at like 3:00 or 5:00 during the day, going, well, we never thought we'd be doing this today, right? We never thought we'd be buying a car today. We never thought we'd be, in the mountains today. We never thought we'd be at the hospital today. We don't know. We don't know what life's going to serve us in a day. And whatever life serves us, we have an opportunity with how we want to respond to it.
That's the gift. I think for me, that's God's example of unconditional love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though it's killing me a day at a time, I mean, it is. For some reason, I get to be the best version of myself because of choice, right? I have the gift of choice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm dealing with the most courteous murderer over here. But at the same time, I have this gift of choice to be the best version of myself, like today. So I can grow, technically, right? I can grow until the day
Right. And if we know better, we can do better.
I love it.
Right? If we know better, we can do better.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because you hear it a lot too, right? Like I hear it a lot. Like, hey, why are you treating yourself so poorly? And it's like, I don't know. And then, it's like, how can I help this person to know? Because I can only imagine what would happen in their world if they began to know. Like, they know everything else.
Yeah.
You go to YouTube to fix something, don't you? Like, you know how many people use YouTube to build things and fix things? Like,
Yeah. I used it last night to learn how
Well, there you go.
put the water in a clothes steamer. I'm staying at a friend's cottage, and I had to put water in the clothes steamer. She gave me the clothes steamer, and I'm like, how do you fill this thing?
So that's,
I'm like, I bet you I could go to YouTube.
Yeah, I bet you got a video for it, right?
I did.
That's crazy.
I got the instructions. I was like, oh, it's so simple.
Did you argue with the person teaching you? Like, I ain't doing that.
No.
What are you talking about? You never even met this person. You listen to everything they said, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to like so many other things, we just want to fight and we don't want to listen. And I got it, and I keep trying to figure out the problem with the same thinking that created the problem, and it just goes. And then
That's a trauma issue.
Cycling in and out, you mean?
No, that when somebody gives you input and you naturally, or your response is to fight back.
Gotcha.
Because, and what my experience tells me is that comes from somebody who earlier in their life had been powered over, potentially by authority figures, whether it be parents, teachers, coaches, aunts, uncles, older siblings, powered over.
When you say powered over, does that mean like crossing the line?
Yeah. Like being told all the time what to do, maybe physically, sexually assaulted or touched. Emotionally, emotionally abused. Maybe there was a bully presence in that person's life. So now, no, nobody's gonna.
Yeah,
nobody's gonna tell me what to do. Who do you think you are telling me what to do?
Yeah. You go into that fight mode like instant. It's like automatic almost, right? You don't even think,
Yeah,
right?
it's a survival adaptation.
Your mind goes right into like a reactive mindset and fight.
Right. It's a survival adaptation that people do.
Is that your area of expertise since you got your license? Trauma?
Yes. I mean, I am a person in long-term recovery. And I was sober for about 12 years or 13 years before I ever went back to get my license, my degree.
Did you have your bachelor's when you weren't sober? Did you already?
I had a bachelor's, in hotel management. Yeah. So I got paid to throw parties,
You're just throwing a different party now.
I was just throwing a different party.
Yeah, you're using some of those skills for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, how are you today? Welcome to my office. Come on in. Would you like a bottle of water?
Right. I should actually be in admissions for a treatment center. I should be the director of admissions for any treatment center because when I was in the hotel business, and I don't want that job, but just saying.
Yeah.
But when I was in the hotel business, I got paid to put heads in beds.
I can.
So hospitality hotel is very similar to running a residential treatment center. It has a lot of the same things.
Oh man, I'm going sideways now. I'll bring it back to the recovery center in a minute, but is there a way to get a better deal on a room that you know of, like an old trick or something?
Yeah.
No.
No, not really. But what I will tell you is if you're nice to the people at the front desk or the manager on duty, you might get an upgrade.
Okay.
If there's a problem.
Yeah.
So
just
if there's a problem,
about it, right?
you'll be respectful, you're kind and everything, they'll be nice because the person that you're complaining to, what I say, has the power of the pen. And I could resolve somebody's problem with upgrading them to the presidential suite and comping their meals and everything. Or I could give you a complimentary cup of tea.
Yeah,
and it all depended upon your attitude.
But even like a cup of tea, I could see that kind of like, okay, I'm recognized, I'm heard.
Yeah.
You know, okay.
Or I could say
Mistakes happen.
Or I could say, I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
So it's so much of life is how we approach things.
So you got into the trauma space.
Yeah. So I went and I after. Well, this is kind of an interesting story. Well, I don't know. I think it's interesting. Yeah. You'll decide. I was about 12 years sober. I was at a church in Fort Lauderdale, and there was a very vibrant pastor there, and he did a meditation. He said, "Let's ask God what His purpose is for you in your life." I know what my purpose is. I'm going to be the executive director for a large hotel corporation. I'm all set. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and that's not what God said. He said, you will go and you will be the healer of hearts. Like, what? Healer of hearts? Like, literally, this conversation I'm having with God. What kind of crap is that? Healer of hearts. He said, you will go.
Oh, man.
You will be the healer of hearts.
Wow.
What? And I freaked out because I thought he was calling me to be a minister. And I was just like, what? That is not who I am. And to make a really long story short, he said, you will go. And he just kept saying, you will go. And I was like, and how am I going to afford to pay for that? Right? I had just gotten divorced. I was bankrupt. I was like...
Yeah.
I was pretty shattered.
Yeah.
And he says, you will not want for anything and you will go.
Wow.
And he showed me standing in front of a large group of people speaking. And it was about something personal. I had spoken like to sales teams and stuff, or Chamber of Commerce, whatever. But he said, you will write. And I was just like, well, you will go and you will write. So I went to the pastor and I said, oh my God, I think he wants me to be a pastor. And he said, oh, that's great. I said, no, it's not. Make a long story short, I ended up going to get registered to get my master's in mental health counseling.
Amazing.
And from that day, which was like 1996, I think, 97, 96, 97, something like that, every door has swung open.
Amazing.
Every door has swung open.
Oh, that's so deep.
And it was like
very deep.
It was totally. It was.
Yeah, I mean, just
wild.
listening to the story, I'm like, oh my God! Like this guy had conviction. Like he knew.
Yeah.
It's almost like he knew. Like something was talking to him, right? This was the pastor that was telling you that.
No, this was God. God was telling me. This was. This is what I was hearing from God.
That's a direct line. Then.
Yeah. It was like a direct download.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because that got deep on me, so maybe I wandered for some. But
yeah,
I get it. Okay,
it was
I'm
a
back.
direct
I'm back.
download. But then I did go to the pastor and I said, he wants me to be a minister. He says, that's great. I said, no, it's not so great.
Gotcha.
And then, so this is also interesting. So then he said, why don't you go sign up for our Bible college? So I took a couple classes at Bible college, and I basically got thrown out for arguing with the teacher. Because the teacher of the class that we were taking was telling people that it was, if they were saved and that they were living with the Holy Spirit, it would be safe for them to drink alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I had a few opinions about that.
Kind of radical, right? A little radical, maybe.
And I
the right
said,
word for it?
I told him I thought that was highly irresponsible.
Irresponsible, yeah.
And he said, you're probably a young Christian. I said, well, obviously you don't know anything about me, and you're being irresponsible. And I'm saying this in front of a group of like 30 people.
Yeah,
So
go get him, Trish.
I said, are you going to say the same thing to somebody who's diabetic? That if they're filled with the Holy Spirit and they're walking in faith, that they can just gorge on sugar and carbohydrates and they should be fine?
Yeah, it's...
And so they kind of decided that it wasn't the right place for me.
Yeah.
But I was very adamant about that because people need to know you can be incredibly God-filled and still need to stay away from alcohol and drugs if you have an addictive personality.
That's a physical condition too.
Yeah,
no?
it's a physical medical condition.
Yeah.
So,
but that's God's gift to us, I think it's the only like medical condition that's fatal, or has the potential to be fatal, that has an opportunity to recover, not cure, but we can recover from a fatal progressive illness. And I think, just to keep it really simple, I heard somebody trying to intellectualize it, kind of, this guy, like trying to intellectualize it. And for me, it's really not that intellectual. I just have to learn how to change my thinking, because it's my thinking that keeps putting it in, nothing else. Physically, after 18 years, you got 36.
30. I just picked up a 38-year little thing the other
38.
day.
Oh my God, 38 years, but I think you and I are the same as somebody who has a week, 50-50. Whether
I agree and disagree.
Okay.
I think that having done all the work that I've done, that you've done, our sobriety or recovery is a lot stronger. Our triggers are few and far between. Okay? So when you're really new in recovery, I like to say that's like a trigger festival. Like everything in the world, you're getting triggered. So you're so uncomfortable living in your skin that, it's almost necessary for you to reach out for something to learn how to be able to live in your skin.
Yeah, you can't stand how you feel.
You can't stand living in your skin.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. What I meant was, if I did put in, I couldn't stop.
Absolutely.
Whether it's 18 years, 50 years, 60, but once it went in, I'd be the same. I would have the same response.
Oh yeah.
If somebody who had a week or something, they were getting at least triggered. But
absolutely.
I know.
I would give away my whole life.
Right.
Like everything that is meaningful to me, I would lose like that.
But on the flip, like what you were saying, for me, I say it like sobriety's created a life for me to where I don't want to use.
Yeah.
Like
why would I want to? Yeah.
But I still treat myself, Yeah. Therapist, Bible study meetings. I do other meetings, other 12-step fellowship meetings. I still sponsor people. I still treat myself. I treat my condition.
Yeah, because it's part of a lifestyle.
It is, right?
It's not work. It's just part of a lifestyle.
Yeah, it just comes
It's
naturally
just kind of like
now.
part of my lifestyle.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
I
even
brush
think
my
about it.
teeth.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine going a day without brushing my teeth. Can you?
Yeah, I know, right?
I can't even imagine having a day where I don't connect with a power greater than myself. And I can't imagine having a day where I don't connect with other human beings. Because for me, recovery, well, alcoholism and addiction, substance use disorders, substance misuse, whatever we want to call it, it's about disconnection, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's about disconnection.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in order to stay in recovery, we need to be connected to others.
Yeah, it's like alcohol. It's like I always say, it's always like starts out as the world's ultimate lubricator, but at its end or at the end or when we decide to give up, it's the ultimate separator.
Yeah,
Like it separates the alcoholic from everything. It starts off all fun and games,
absolutely.
woo-hoo-hoo,
Yeah.
but at the end of it, and at the end, is trauma like? There's trauma is obviously there's different types of trauma, but is trauma, or your trauma's not my trauma because you didn't have this done to you or you didn't experience this,
So trauma is, my broad definition of trauma. It's actually Pia Melody's broad definition of trauma. Pia Melody is a well-renowned therapist who wrote the developmental model for developmental wounding, for codependence, and I trained under her for years. But her definition for trauma would be that any less than nurturing experience that a person goes through that kind of like gets stuck in your nervous system. Right? And so that's a broad brush, right? And I think it was Bessel van der Kolk, I'm not sure, but somebody who I absolutely agree with, or maybe it was Gabor Mate, says that trauma isn't something that happened to you, it's what lives inside of you. Right? So it's not necessarily, you can have a traumatic event, experience a traumatic event, and heal and move on for that, or you can experience a traumatic event and it alters your nervous system. The fragments of it get stuck in your nervous system. They don't get fully processed. So then it comes back as a reaction. Trauma comes back as a reaction, a physical or a behavioral response to life is trauma.
So, like, can trauma genetically change your genes? Like the code, like every gene has a code.
Yeah.
Which is mind-boggling to me. But does trauma have the ability to change that coding?
Yeah,
and it starts functioning differently.
Yeah, and there's research that talks about generational trauma and epigenetics. How the generations of trauma behind us got passed down through not only our genes but behaviorally. So it wires your brain.
So, like, once the gene morphs into what it wasn't originally there for, that morphed gene that has a behavior or a reaction or a feeling or whatever attached to it can go into that same gene can go into the next generation, right? Like say somebody has trauma, it shapes that gene. It's not doing what it was initially intended for. Now it's operating differently. That person has a kid or a baby.
Right.
That gene, that change gene, can go into the so it's like that.
That's my understanding.
That's mine too. So it's like that generational thing, right?
That's why it's so important to do to take a look at the roots and the generational trauma that people come from.
Do you have a certain niche, Trish, that you work with on trauma? Is there a certain
I work with a lot of, yeah, anybody who's had less than nurturing experiences. So that might be you.
Yeah.
But really, I work with adults in their like 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. A lot of times, people who are successful in many areas of their life, but seem to have chaos in their relationships or chaos in their life. And they come in to see me because of the chaos in their life or the hurt, the breakup, the chaos, whatever it might be. Like things aren't going well now. Maybe it's the anxiety, whatever. And we just kind of like trace it back. Okay, where's the root? And a lot of times the root is through that generational trauma or that early childhood wounding.
Do you think the majority of it is in childhood, or is it? I mean, anything's possible, but this is just a thought I'm having right now. Like, your childhood can start out normal, whatever normal
Absolutely.
is, but then you have experiences, right? Like, I don't know, like you said, like maybe some type of abuse or
maybe
car accident,
or maybe 9/11 or a school shooting or a communal tragedy or the loss of a loved one. All of those are heavy experiences. A pandemic. Right, the pandemic that happened in 2020 and 2021 fueled a mental health crisis that this world has never seen before. And I think part of that, well, there's a lot of reasons, but people were locked in their homes. Okay? Told not to go outside. It's not safe to go outside because you're going to kill somebody or you could get killed. Okay? So you're going to be locked in your home, and you may or may not be locked in your home with people who you enjoy 1,000%. Prior to that, people would leave the house and go to work or go to school and, come back and spend, from 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock, go to bed and wake up again and do it again. But if you were locked in a house with that already had tension, right? And you were told you can't leave, or even if you were locked in a house that was harmonious, and you're told that you can't leave, what that could have done or did do for many people is it activated a replay of possibly what was like for them when they were a kid, growing up in a house with domestic violence, growing up in a house where there was potentially sexual abuse, alcoholism,
all kinds of
just
dysfunction.
all kinds of chaos and dysfunction. And when you're a kid and you're living in that system, there's no escape. You don't have a choice.
It just becomes part of you, right?
Right. And you feel trapped. And so during the pandemic, a lot of people felt trapped in their physical locations, and they felt disconnected. They felt disconnected. So that really woke up a lot of trauma that was dormant.
I think a lot of people relapsed too during the pandemic.
A lot of people relapsed.
That were, we use the word sober pretty loosely. And from my experience, it's either you're sober, or you're abstinent, kind of. But I think there was a lot of people that were just abstinent.
Yeah, we had people who were at work, working virtually, drinking. This I promise you is water. So there's water in here, but there were people who were working.
I've never left the space.
That were, drinking their wine at 2 o'clock and just so
I never left the space ever since I got sober 18 years ago, and I've heard so many people, working in treatment, that I'd be sitting there, I'm sorry, but I had my shirt on with my tie and I had my shorts on, and I was wasted. I was wasted. I was drinking right before. I'm drinking during. I put my camera off, go to the bathroom, walk around, come back, put my camera back on, like all this.
Yeah, there were a lot of people doing that.
There was a lot.
There were people doing that who were, you know, running all sorts of corporations, doing all sorts of jobs, and teaching. There were a lot of people who were teaching who were also drinking.
Oh yeah, my wife's a teacher at a local high school, and some of the COVID stuff was like, you gotta be kidding me, really? Like, she's like, yeah. So.
Yeah. So that is trauma for anyone who was in the education system for those years.
Heavy.
That's trauma.
So you're moving in, you're carving out your niche, right? You're getting better and better and better as time goes on because you can, and you're a natural. She's a natural. She's very dedicated. She's got a wonderful heart, and just a real deal. So God's right, and yourself have been going on this journey, and then next thing you know, you're writing a book. There's a really awesome story behind that, right?
Yeah.
Your book.
Yeah, there is. So I've been a therapist now for over 26 years, which is really kind of crazy because I feel like I'm in my early 40s. So I'm bad at math, but I know that math doesn't add up, right?
You're not that bad.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm bad at math, but I'm not that bad at math, right? But I had, during the pandemic, I had a cancer experience. I got diagnosed with throat cancer. That was something interesting that I didn't expect that I was going to have to deal with, right?
Yeah.
That showed up.
Oh, yeah.
When cancer shows up, it gets your attention.
Yeah.
So fortunately, I'm cancer-free. I had a phenomenal team of professionals treat me. They were amazing. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. But when cancer showed up, I was just like, what? My throat? Throat cancer? Like, what? You're going to attack the instrument I use to help heal people? Like, no. There will be none of that.
Yeah.
That was like one of those, not today, Satan.
Yeah.
And
love it.
And so after I recovered from the treatment, because I didn't feel sick before I got the diagnosis. I didn't feel sick.
How did you
the treatment caused me to feel really sick.
How did you get sick? Like, how did you know the diagnosis? Was there something itching or?
Yeah, I had like back here. It felt like there was like a little kernel of popcorn stuck in the back of my throat. You know when you have popcorn, sometimes like you get a little kernel, kind of like sits back there, and it wouldn't go away.
Huh.
And so I tried to go to the doctor. It was during the pandemic. My primary care doctor would not see me.
Wow.
He said you should gargle with throat water, with salt water.
Okay.
Or go to the urgent care. I said, why won't the doctor see me? I thought I had strep throat. I was concerned. I wanted a strep test. And they said, no. I said, what about? They said, we can't. It's COVID. I said, I'm putting a mask on going into working in treatment centers. Like you're my primary care doctor. Why aren't you seeing me? No, we're not going to see you. Go to urgent care. So I did. I went to the Minute Clinic. And the nurse was lovely, and she goes, oh, you've got allergies. She took a look. No strep. You've got allergies. She gave me some amoxicillin or something. Take it. Never went away. So about 2 weeks later, I said to my husband, I'm going to find some doctor who will see me. So I finally found a doctor that would actually see me during COVID. And he did a scope, and he did a little Vinnie Barbarina rubber nose up your remember Vinnie Barbarina up your nose with a rubber hose? Well, he did that. He did that. Welcome back, Connor, showing our age. And he said, I'm sorry to tell you, but you got throat cancer.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man, anything can happen in just one day, huh?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. So when I recovered from that journey, I was walking one morning and I was like, all right, God, what's next? Like, I've built a practice. I've done all these things. What's next? And I was reminded of the original vision that I was given, 25 years ago about my work. And then I heard the words instill hope.
God, man, so cool.
Instill hope.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, what is that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty dutiful. So I went home and I bought the domain name. And I just put it on the shelf. I'm like, I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means, but I'm putting it on the shelf. And
Love it.
well, for a little later, right? And then I was at the Global Exchange.
I seen. Yeah, remember.
Yep, at the Global Exchange, and Gabby Bernstein was up speaking, and she told a little bit of her testimony, her story of coming through sexual abuse.
Yeah.
And then she went on to say many other things. And then there was Q&A portion after she spoke. So I'm like, all right, the microphone's up there. I might as well go up and ask her. Like, I don't need to ask her how to get sober, how to heal, how to like do anything. Like, I understand all that stuff. But she's written a lot of books. So I got up. I said, Gabby, what advice would you have for author? Because I was thinking, God said I was going to write. And she said, I'll gift you my master class. I was like, wow. Okay, thank you. So, and I didn't know whether it was just, people say a lot of things, right? Well, lo and behold, about 2 weeks later, she sent me the master class.
Wow.
Yeah. So that started me on a journey to organize all the stuff in this very full, active ADD brain. Like, my brain is like an idea factory, firing off ideas and thoughts all the time. Not worried. I am not anxious. I'm not a worried person, but I'm like a highly active brain person, like off the charts intuition.
Is that like the same thing as like you need constant stimulation or no?
No, my brain stimulates itself. My husband, I'll say, honey, I have an idea, and he'll go over to the wall and he'll brace himself, and he's like, all right, tell me. Because it's like this idea factory up here, right? There should be 6 of me. I think there's 6 of me living in here.
Yeah, they're all messing with you.
Right. So right. They're starting, so I started working on it, and then it just kind of went off the shelf. And then the following year, I go to Global Exchange, and Gabor Mate is there.
Yeah.
So I go up to Gabor. I said, Gabor, I've got something I think you'll find interesting. And he's like, what is that?
Oh, you did that pretty good.
Yeah, did I do that?
Yeah, you did that pretty good.
He says, what is that? And because he wrote the book, When the Body Says No. And I said, I had throat cancer. He goes, very sorry to hear. Yes. I said, no, I'm good. I'm all set. And I said, that's not the interesting part. I said, the interesting part is I tried to strangle myself when I was 6 years old. And he went, oh, very interesting. What have you not said? I said, I've really said everything. I mean, I don't really have any secrets. I've said everything. It's not like I haven't talked or said that before. He goes, what have you not said? What have you not given voice to? I said, no, seriously, I've said everything. And he said, and I looked out at the audience and I went, well, I didn't say it like in front of a room like this. And he said, well, you better get writing.
Whoa.
Oof.
Man, that's so cool, man. Wow.
So I walked away, and I said, I guess I'm writing.
Things shifted again.
I guess I'm writing. So that's when I got busy, and I made a commitment to get up at 5:30 every morning and write for 2 hours before I started my day. And I did that for about 9 months consistently just doing this. Yeah.
What an amazing book, too. It's called Rescued. It's very amazing. It's on Amazon, right?
It is on Amazon.
Yeah. Tell us.
So-
What's it about?
All right, so Rescued, Hope for the Shattered Heart and Soul, is basically it's broken up into two parts. The first part is my experience and my testimony of coming through trauma, experiencing and coming through trauma.
Would you consider that like for people that might pick this book up and like beginning in their journey like you did? Is that like the identification part?
Yes, to be able to identify
With the author kind of thing?
Yeah, identify
Yeah.
what the experience was like.
Yeah.
So people
Awesome.
don't feel so alone. For people to be inspired
Yeah.
that there is hope and recovery is possible. And then the second part is really the nuts and bolts of trauma psychology. So I didn't want to just write a book like, oh, look at me, this happened to me, and like I recovered and I'm well now. Look at me. I'm not interested in that. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm really not interested in
Yeah.
bringing attention to myself. I'm
Yeah.
interested in spreading hope and healing. Truly.
Passing the baton.
Yeah, exactly. And
Awesome.
so the book is really for three audiences: for an individual who has experienced trauma or is experiencing trauma, for individuals have people in their lives that are experiencing or have experienced trauma, for them to understand what that person went through or is going through, and also for therapists, clinicians, for them to understand what their clients are actually experiencing. Because we take, in the book, I take a good, I did, there's parts of it that are pretty raw,
Yeah.
but a real reveal of what my internal mindset
Yeah.
was at that time.
Is this also a book that could be used like for somebody, say, in a relationship with somebody that's experienced
Yes,
the
absolutely.
walk, and maybe this would help them get into their world a little bit, so they could maybe understand them more rather
Yeah.
than critiquing them. Like, what the heck's wrong?
Absolutely.
Did you pull you?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. So for people who have family members who are in recovery, beautiful tool. There's a ton of action steps in the book that are going to help people move forward. I'm all about, okay, this happened. What can we do to help you move forward from it? And so
cool.
Rescue's about inspiring, informing, and most of all, equipping. Equipping people with the tools that they
Yeah.
deserve, because
Yeah.
everybody deserves to heal.
100%. 100%.
And not everybody can, number one, afford to come into a private practice therapist place. And not everybody can afford that.
Yeah.
But pretty much most people can afford $15 for a book.
100%.
Right.
So cool. I think it's just amazing. So, like, if this podcast is catching you or you caught it, this is the whole point of what we do. It's to reach that one person, to always have a guest like Trisha that's super, super qualified as far as using her gifts and her talents, but she also can appropriately use her gift of finding a way out.
Yeah.
And actually sharing and writing about the experience of finding a way out. There's a lot of magic in finding a way out because so many people don't. Because, when Trisha and I were born, the doctor didn't go to our mom and say, oh, by the way, on page 68,
Right.
there's this time in your life where it's going to go sideways. Just read that. You'll be okay. So, this is an incredible opportunity for somebody that can relate to Trisha as far as sobriety, trauma experience, life completely unmanageable, and then at the same breath, a life of recovery and a life of resilience and a life of a comeback. It's a different kind of hard, right? It's like a different kind of fight.
Sure.
Like we were talking about before, right? People with trauma, they fight right away. Don't tell me what to do. This is like a different fight, We learn how to go from that disempowering fight
Right.
to the empowering fight,
Absolutely.
right? And
Absolutely.
we put on like a whole new pair of mitts or whole new gloves There's I think a book, or an old
A
speaker that
new
used to
set
say
of glasses.
new pair of
New
glasses.
new pair of glasses.
New pair of
New pair-
this is a new pair
It's
of
a new pair of glasses.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm not busting your chops right now, but there's no excuse to say I don't know today. There's just no excuse. Go to
Right.
Amazon and get this book.
Well, the other thing, one of the things that I did in the book is I write about difficult personality types, interacting with difficult personality types.
So,
Right.
like, example, BPD kind of?
Yeah, people who are diagnosed would get the diagnosis of like borderline personality or narcissistic personality disorder. I don't like to necessarily put people in those labels, but there are definitely people in our lives, all of our lives, that are really hard to interact with, right?
Oh, yeah.
Really hard to interact with.
Yeah.
And especially a lot of times these people will show up in your workplace. They might be your boss, they might be coworkers, whatever. So we can't escape difficult personality types, right? So, but we do all need to learn how to interact with these difficult personality types so we don't lose our own serenity. So there's a lot of information in the book about that too.
I think it's really cool that you just said that, because my mind just went to, like, we protect ourselves from these unfortunate situations so inappropriately or so dysfunctionally, but then you just said, that we learn how to start dealing with these people, and we start learning how to say no, and no is a full sentence, and boundaries.
Right,
and
just different strategies,
just
boundaries.
different strategies.
Yeah,
It's so cool, right?
yeah, just different strategies.
What a wonderful conversation. So I don't know, that one person is listening right now. Like, what would be your advice if they just, they're there for everybody else except themselves? If there's something from the past that still has, like, a lot of power over them and control. If they're in a difficult spot. I know it's a lot of questions that each one of them take a really long time, but just, I don't know, somebody, we just catch that person who's struggling right now. What advice would you give them?
So some of the advice that I would give is that it's your turn. All right. There's never been a better day for you to choose yourself. And what that might look like, it might look different for you than somebody else. Whether it's to pick the phone up and call a qualified therapist, somebody who's really qualified, who's done a lot of training, who's done some EMDR, breathwork training, or some somatic experience training. Like, those are all really strong, important clinical trainings that people should be able to deliver. So one, it's, pick up the phone and reach out, call somebody. And number two, realize that you deserve to have joy, right? You don't deserve to be happy every moment of the day. Happiness is something that is contingent upon circumstances, but you deserve to have an internal sense of peace. And if there is stuff that you've been dragging along with you that is weighing you down, you deserve to heal that. And you probably need help doing it, because if you could have done it by yourself, you would have done it already.
100%. Amen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And, feed your spirit. Do things that feed your spirit. That God connection, that spirit connection is vitally important to a person's recovery. I will not shy away from that. People years ago were saying, "Oh, you can't say that word in therapy." I'm like, well, I am. Like, I mean, if you have the biggest weapon in the world, why would you not bring that into your clinical work? I don't bring my God. Let me correct this. I want the individual who's doing their work to utilize their spiritual tools to grow their spiritual life. My spiritual life has nothing to do with it. So I don't impose my spiritual beliefs or my stuff on anybody else, because it's a very personal experience.
Correct.
Your relationship spiritually might be very different than somebody else's.
Correct.
My spiritual preferences or somebody else's. But what I will tell you is trauma crushes a person's spirit.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
And so
yeah.
in sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse crushes a child's spirit. And so in order to have full recovery, you have to have a spiritual recovery as well. And that has to be part of it.
And what a wonderful thing to tap into, you know, not to complicate. I just think, you know, when we're working, not with the worldly stuff, you know, because if that worked, we wouldn't all be so lost or disturbed or, you know, trauma. It would be working, right? Like, but there's so much creative intelligence in a human being. Like, that's, for me, as simple as I can put it over the years, you know, that's a power greater than myself.
Yeah.
You know, this creative intelligence that we're all capable of. It's, you know, if you think about it, you go to bed, and the brain, you know, the rest of the body finally goes, oh God, because you go to sleep, and this thing shuts off, a little pee up there, and the body goes, ah, what a day that was. Because
made it.
Yeah, but because this creative intelligence, it's also self-governing. You know what I mean? Like the liver, the kidneys, the lungs, the genes, the bone marrow, the blood, the vein, they're all working in harmony, the heart. They're all like self-governing each other. I've never heard, and I've been pretty high, I've never heard like, you know, the heart say to the kidney, yeah, you piece of crap, you know, or, you know what I mean? You used to be a size 2, now you're size 10, you know, like, you're like, no, they just do it. Like, that's the thing that fascinates me. When this thing, they don't criticize each other. They just help each other, and they have this beautiful synchronicity, like this beautiful symphony, you know? And then 8 hours later, oh my gosh, this thing comes back on, bing. And the mind is, the body's just like, oh, God, here we, you know, if you keep doing that over and over and over, it's like a first responder, you know, or a combat vet, right? They go from 0 to 100 over and over and over. Like, it takes its toll.
Sure.
Whatever you go to bed with, you wake up with.
Exactly.
So if you go to bed, as soon as this thing goes down, the body goes, oh, and then it wakes up, it's 0 to 100, 0 to 100. So I love that part, and I love the way you keep bringing that up a lot too. There's a spiritual component. There's not a Catholic component, a Protestant component. You know, I'm not sure. And Trisha was saying we're not going there.
Jewish
there's a spiritual
there's a spiritual component.
You know, you go to the Grand Canyon, you go down to the ocean, especially here in South Florida. You go put a snorkel on. All you gotta do is walk out 4 feet and go under. And the beauty that's down there, and a sea turtle go past. It's also self-governing. You come back up, and you hear all the noise again. Everybody yelling. You go back down. You're like, ah. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I love the way you brought that back. So, you know, think about that. Like, where are you today? Where are your thoughts? Your thoughts don't necessarily mean that's what it is.
Right.
But I get that part too. Let's change the conversation. Have a different conversation. I hope, you know, having Trisha here and the way I've been responding to her, I hope that brought a different conversation to you, and that, you know, Trisha gave you some hope. I mean, if you want to know what hope is, to me, it's not a bomb or a white flag. It's Trisha Edwards sitting right here next to me. Did you hear some of the stuff she was saying and some of the experiences that she's overcome? I mean, that to me is that creative intelligence part. It's like, after all this stuff, and we don't need details. I don't know about you. I mean, obviously, if you're working intimately with somebody, eventually you need them. But my experience, if I can get an adult to be honest, all the details follow anyway, you know? It's like on their time, not my time, you know?
Yeah.
So if you just were
sometimes I'll work with people for years because they are so traumatized that
takes a while, right?
Take them a couple of years to say the thing.
Say the
like, because
thing.
they have to watch you for a couple of years to realize if you're trustworthy.
Oof.
And some people I work with for 12 weeks, and they have a profound change.
Yeah.
So I don't want people to think that everybody needs to be in therapy for years. But, some people, it depends on the level of wounding somebody's had.
And I get that, because if they're like me, they're throwing little bombs out to people like you, and seeing how when those bombs explode, see, AKA what's said back, and by what comes back, you're like, you're lying. You're full of, you're going to HR. You're putting my business up because I'm setting it up like that. I'm dying, or not dying. I'm doing whatever I can to hold on and protect the wound for so long. So I get that. It takes some people, like you said, I don't know, some people maybe first session, I don't know.
Yeah, some people might come in ripe and ready and let's do this thing, and some people might need to observe for a period of time.
Yeah, and I know there's a person out there right now listening that does everything for somebody else.
Right.
So I'm going to give you a challenge today. Hopefully you commit to it. And, if you were to pick up the phone for yourself, because you're doing everything for everybody else, but when it comes to us, it's like, this phone becomes 900 pounds.
Right.
So if you were, how would somebody get in touch with you?
You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. You can email me at pathtohealing1@gmail.com. And you can call me on the phone, 561-886-7985.
I mean, I'm not responsible whether you believe me or not, but I love what I do. And believe me, if you're going to make a phone call, that would be the phone call I make. Because if you've been following me or what the Recovery Center podcast has been bringing to you, like people like Trisha Edwards, maybe you have...
Trisha Young.
Edwards, that's somebody. Trisha Young.
Oh, wow.
It's only 15 years.
It's only 15 years. That's okay.
I'll get it one of these days.
I went to the wrong address this morning, so we're equal.
We're even.
We're even.
So things do erase each other.
Everything balances out. Everything balances out. I love it.
Oh, my God. We're nuts.
Oh, it's great.
Wasn't that great?
That was awesome.
Oh, man, am I getting red? Am I getting a little blush?
Yeah, a little blush. Yeah, it's good. It's lovely.
Yeah. But for real, I've known her 15 years now, and, this is really important to me. And I know it's important to her because she wouldn't be here if she didn't feel the same way. And I just wanted, Trisha's great. So maybe somebody will take her up on a way to get in touch with her. Any last words?
And I will say that I have known you for a long time. I followed you. Stalked you. No.
One of the few that can get away with that.
No, but I am always touched by your commitment to help people and help the mission and keep people knowing that recovery is possible.
Yeah.
And if anybody can look at a symbol of hope, Tim Roberto, you would be that person.
Thanks, Trisha. That means a lot to me. There's so many of the years of my life I was just so lost and wandering and homeless. 18 years ago, I was homeless.
Yeah.
So here I am.
So here
you
are.
My dad was a doctor in New Manhattan, a well-known doctor. I grew up in this beautiful, wealthy area in Franklin Lakes, New Jersey. I served my country in the Marine Corps. Blah, blah. Stop with all that stuff. It runs from Park Bench to Park Avenue and everything in between. When you got the bug, you got the bug. So thank you for that. Was that your last? Or do you have anything else you'd like to say before we put a wrap on?
So I would like to leave you with one of my taglines. It's in the book. You have to rescue yourself, but you can't do it alone. So you're responsible for your healing. You're not necessarily responsible for what happened to you, but you're responsible for your healing, but you can't do it alone. So reach out to somebody.
I just had a thought, and then we'll take off. I just had a thought. What's the book signing again?
We're going to do a book launch and signing at Beachway on November the 7th, I believe it is.
Thank God for people like Trisha.
Yeah, November the
Trisha
7th.
Young.
And I'm going to show up at the right location. Um,
And I'm going to get her last name right.
yeah. And when we do that, we have Eric Bricker from the Good Counsel podcast is the moderator. And we have myself and a couple of other people, clinicians, providers who have read the book. And we discuss what the things in the book that are applicable, things that were helpful, inspiring. And then we just have a great conversation about how we can help people.
Great conversation.
And a great conversation on what not to do.
Unbelievable.
Which is just as important.
Great conversation because of great people getting together, doing great work. And also, we can't forget the great food.
Oh, yeah, and great food and a great facility.
Great facility.
And remember, I was in the hotel business, so I do know how to throw a party.
Hey, so based on, I'm Tim Roberto, tim.r@beachway.com. I'm all over Facebook too, Instagram. So between Trisha and I, if this intrigues you too, and you really want to get in front of somebody that I don't know, that you're drawn to during this podcast, meet her in person, or just meet other like-minded people in person, it may be the greatest gift you ever gave to yourself so far yet.
Yeah, we're much better than AI.
Oh gosh,
right?
Yeah. You hit a button. So with that being said, God bless you all. Be good to yourselves today, and hopefully between the two of us, we brought something very impactful to you. And we wish you peace and love.